Shalom, y'all, to this live. I was going into who Lucifer is, like, cause as you can see, you know, yeah, I went over that one. All right, verse 14. I will ascend above the heights of the clouds. I will be like the Most High. Verse 15. Yet thou shalt be brought down to hell, to the sides of the pit. Verse 16, they that see thee shall narrowly look upon thee and consider thee, saying, is this the man that made the earth to tremble, that did shake kingdoms? Is this the man? So it ain't talking about obviously it's not talking about the spiritual demon Satan, since the spiritual demon Satan is it's a spirit, an angel, not a man. A man will be talking about what's obvious. A man will be talking about someone like you or me, except they're the wicked. So, yeah, right here, like it tells you too, and that made the earth, the world as a wilderness, and destroyed the cities thereof, that opened not the house of his prisoners. So he has prisoners. Verse 18, and that's us. This country, this so-called country, America, is like a huge prison camp for the children of Israel. And also all them jakes that are locked up and they're in prison, which some of them deserve to be there, some of them don't. But we know that Jake gets a heavier punishment. Jake gets the book thrown at him in America. And Esau creates like socially engineers is basically like fucks us over so that we'll be that way. Like we're a product of our environment. Wherever you grow up, you're a product of it. But the elect and 1/3 of us gonna be saved out of that. All the kings of the nations, even all of them, lie in glory, everyone in his own house. Okay, so all the kings of the nations. Verse 19. But thou art cast out of the grave like an abominable branch, and as the raiment of those that are slain, thrust through with the sword, that go down to the stones of the pit, as a carcass trodden under feet. Verse 20. Thou shalt not be joined with them in burial, because thou hast destroyed thy land, and slain thy people. Seed of evildoers shall never be renowned. Okay, and then last one, it's 21. Verse 21, prepare slaughter for his children for the iniquity of their fathers, that they do not rise, nor possess the land, nor fill the face of the world with cities. So, basically, yeah, right here, man, it tells you that Lucifer is a man. Like, this should definitely tell you, and then the verses after should confirm it. Verse 22, but I will rise up against them, saith the Lord of hosts, and cut off from Babylon the name and remnant and son and nephew, saith Yahweh. So, yeah. So as you can see, Lucifer is a man. And Lucifer means light bearer. Illuminati, as you can see, Illuminati meaning what the fuck? Alright, Illuminati mean Okay, people to, okay, Illuminati. Okay, right here is, tells you what it's like. Late 16th century, plural of Italian illuminato or Latin illuminatus. Enlighten. Past principle of illuminare. See illuminate. So they claim to be the Illuminati, so they're mockingly being called Lucifer by Yahweh. By Yahweh. Yahweh is calling them, like, through his prophet Isaiah, he's calling them Lucifer, but mockingly, because they're not enlightened at all. I mean, they're the prince of darkness, pretty much. They're like, shit, yeah, pretty much, yeah. They're not really enlightened about shit. They're really, I don't know if it's Prince of Darkness or it's something else. So let me just look this up. And I think it's the New Testament. Yeah, we are the children of light. We are the children of light and the children of the day. We are not of the night, nor of darkness. And who has delivered us from the power of darkness and hath translated us into the kingdom of his dear son. Alright, so, well, as you can see, who is who is the real, like, Illuminati? Who's the real Illuminati? His elect, the men of the Lord, Israel, especially the men. Well, the men, 2/3 are in darkness, so the men of the Lord, but they are gonna be enlightened in the kingdom, but they're in darkness right now. So the men of the Lord, the 1/3, they the real illuminated ones. We the real illuminated ones. I hope to be of that number. See, like, called you out of darkness into his marvelous light right here. A chosen generation, a royal priesthood, a holy nation, a peculiar people, that ye should show forth the praises of him who hath called you out of darkness into his marvelous light. So as you can see, Ephesians 5:1, 5:11, Salakia, and have no fellowship with the unfruitful works of darkness, but rather reprove them. Okay, so yeah, basically, as you can see, wickedness is basically compared, and evil is compared to darkness, which is why they call our people black. It means completely devoid of light. But these devils are the real black people. If you really look at it, they're black-hearted. Oh, first of all, they're not white. White is the color, this screen right here. This window right here is white. And they're more like this color. They're pink. The devils are pink, and when they spend too much in the time in the sun, they get like even more like this color. So they ain't white, they red on the outside, like the red dragon and shit. Well, red, Edom means red, and the red dragon also goes back to Esau, Revelation 12 describes them. These devils, pretty much. Yeah, the dragon right here. The dragon. Yeah, Khan talks about the woman, which you look at the story and it's us. We're the woman. This Israel always is compared to a woman, Not a whole when we go off, but this is how we really are. A woman that's shamefaced, a woman that's the woman. We are the Lord's woman. So, yeah, so 12 stars, 12 tribes of Israel, and there appeared a great wonder in heaven, a woman clothed with the sun and the moon under her foot. Her she shall cry, travail in birth, and pain to be delivered. Verse 3, and there appeared another wonder in heaven, and behold, a great red dragon, having 7 heads and 10 horns and 7 crowns upon his heads. So, that red dragon, right? Verse 4, and his tail drew the third part of the stars of heaven, and did cast them to the earth. And the dragon stood before the woman which was ready to be delivered for to devour her child as soon as it was born. And that child, it's Yahweh Shai, right? Is in verse 5 it says, and she brought forth a man child who was to rule all nations with the rod of iron, and her child was caught up unto Yahweh and to his throne. So that's Yahweh Shai. That's Yahweh Shai, because Yahweh Shai came out of Israel. Yahweh Shai came out, he was an Israelite, the tribe of Judah, the house of David. So we know that man child is Yahweh Shai. And so that great red dragon, the 10 horns, the 7 heads and 10 horns and 7 crowns upon his head, that's which is the Roman Empire. It's the Roman Empire. Red dragon, like Esau, like Esau Edom, because that's the empire ruled by Esau Edom. It's a red beast, having 7 heads, and 10 horns. There's 10 kings that was divided into the 7 crowns upon his heads. Okay, so it was originally that, and then the old Roman Empire had that, was divided up like that, and then 10 horns when it came back. That's how it happened. And his tail drew the. Oh yeah, right here. I don't know why I usually. Y'all know what I'm trying to do. I should know. And his tail drew the third part of the stars of heaven, and did cast them to the earth. And that's who's the stars right now. And back then, they was up there too. Who caused Israel to fall? Who sacrifices these celebrities? That sell out. Back then, they caused Israel to fall. They took down the Israelites. We was being oppressed by them devils. And did cast them to the earth, and the dragon to a lower state, is what it means. And the dragon stood before the woman, which was ready to be devoured, be delivered to devour, for to would devour her child as soon as it was born. So, yeah, she brought forth a man child, which was to rule all nations with the rod of iron, and her child was caught up unto Yahweh and to his throne. That's Yahweh Shai. And the woman fled into the wilderness, where she had a place prepared of Yahweh, that they should feed her there 1,203 score days. So it's talking about when the woman fled into, literally it's talking about when our people fled out of the land, to West Africa and to other areas. And he stayed there for a while. Yeah, and there was war in heaven, Michael and his angels fought against dragon, and dragon fought and his angels. Alright, meaning that's that war is coming up. But also, spiritually, they're being taken down. We're chanting down Babylon, and the men of the Lord have been doing this. The men of the Lord have been doing this since the 60s, pretty much. And since Abba Bivens was out there in the 60s, they've been chanting down Babylon. So, also, it has two meanings, basically. And then, of course, that last war, World War III, when Esau is also going to try to take out Yahushua when he comes. Verse 8, and prevail not, neither was their place found any more in heaven. Basically, yeah. There's, just in case you didn't know, there's several types of heaven. There's the third heaven, where the throne is, where Yahweh sits and Yahushua is at his right hand. The second, and then there's a heaven like the skies, the skies, space, and that's where that war is gonna happen, in the skies. And the great dragon was cast out, and also it's symbolic of these devils getting cast down, like from their high estate, from their heaven, cast down to the earth. Right now they're not down to earth. They think they're on their high horse. Basically, they're not down to earth. The Rothschilds, they haven't done no honest work, and well, really they never have, but they never been on the bottom they ain't been on the bottom, in the lowest state in a long ass time. So, and the great dragon was cast out, that old serpent called the devil and Satan, which deceiveth the whole world. Devil meaning false accuser, deceiver, and Satan meaning adversary. He was cast out into the earth, and his angels were cast out with them. So, the soldiers, man, everyone that fought with him, man, all these nations gonna fight against Yahushua when he come back. And then also he's falling out of that lower state too, and so is everyone that's with them. Angel means messenger. Verse 10, and I heard a loud voice saying in heaven, now is come salvation and strength in the kingdom of our power and the power of his Hamashiach, for the accuser of our brethren is cast down, which accused them before Yahweh day and night. So these devils, they be doing, like, what these blacks be doing and shit. That's what they say. They sell drugs. They fucking abort their babies. The women abort their babies. The women are fucking hoes in the streets, cheating on the man, and They yeah, and they, oh shit, must be my charger. And they don't take, they abuse. Well, they all food stamps. They're on drugs and shit. Basically, you know what they be saying. They always be eating pork, and they say the same thing about the Latinos, which are really the Northern Kingdom, and Native Americans, and the Israelite foreigners. They be saying the same shit, accusing us before our power. Yeah, and this is yeah, which accuse him before our power day and night. Verse 11. And they overcame him by the blood of the Lamb and by the word of their testimony, and they loved not their lives unto the death. That's what we're gonna have to do. When these devils roll on us, man. When these devils roll on us, we're gonna have to continue like in that path, no matter what obstacles they throw at us. We're gonna have to continue. Salak. Hold up. Yeah. And yeah, therefore rejoice, ye heavens, and ye that dwell in them. Woe to the inhabitants of the earth and of the sea, for the devils come down to you having great wrath, because he knoweth that he had but a short time. And yeah, man. So when these devils, like these devils are going down, actually. Fuck. When these devils are in the process of going down, and they're falling pretty fast, and they're about to come down with great wrath. Rejoice ye heavens, Yeah. Rejoice ye heavens. Because basically, the elect are gonna be protected. But I'm thinking it's also like, how the angels are like our brothers, right? It also means this, I think. The angels are like our brothers, so they're like, the accuser of our brethren is cast down, which accused them before our power day and night. And they overcame him by the blood of the Lamb and by the word of their testimony, and they loved not their lives unto death. So it's talking about that, and also talking about, when we have been in the chariots, it's talking about we're going to be, I think it's really talking about the angels, though, that they see what we're doing, continuing on that path, not giving up, trying to turn around and shit because of the obstacles and persecution. And when the dragon saw it, he was cast to the earth. He persecuted the woman which brought forth the man child. So it was that woman Israel. And the woman were given 2 wings of a great eagle. On this side, Israel of Yahweh, by Hashem Yahweh Shai, is the 1/3 of Israel. That to the woman were given 2 wings of a great eagle, that she might fly into the wilderness, into her place where she is nourished for a time and half a time from the face of the serpent. Verse 15, and the serpent cast out of his mouth water as a flood after the woman, that he might cause her to be carried away of the flood. Okay, that's that flood. The flood of lies about our people. Okay, the flood about, well, the flood of lies about our people, like, the bullshit they say, you know. Because it's talking about two events, you gotta understand. It's talking about 70 AD, you know, those other times when our people was being persecuted by the Roman Edomites. The first Roman Empire was giving us hell. It's talking about then, and we was, yeah, and our people fled into Africa and other areas away from the Romans. And basically we was, and then what happened is the serpent, you know, which is the dragon, you know, which is the serpent of the garden. It's the same devil. And the serpent cast out of his mouth water as a flood after the woman, that he may cause her to be carried away after the flood. That's something else. That goes into something else too, because he was spitting lies about us pretty much. You know, like all types of lies, you know, first that about himself, that the so-called white man, you know, is basically the most high and all that. That's what these devils was saying. And, you know, everybody important was the so-called white man. That was the flood of lies he was spitting. And about us, that we was inferior and that we wasn't shit. He continues to do it. And we're thugs and criminals and illegal immigrants and just drunks and lazy, when really that's these devils. And verse 16, and the earth helped the woman, and the earth opened her mouth and swallowed up the flood which the dragon cast out of his mouth. And what that is all this evidence from the past coming out about who the real Israelites were, how they looked like how we're scattered everywhere. Not just, we don't just look a certain way, you know. All this evidence is coming out about us, and evidence that this devil lied. Verse 17, and the dragon was wroth with the woman, and went to make war with the remnant of her seed, which keep the commandments of Yahweh, and have the testimony of Yahweh Shai. So that's what's happening. That's what's about to happen too. Because the real threat is the elect. And 1/3, they're the real threat. The remnant of the seed. So they went to war with us pretty much. Well, they're starting their propaganda war, and these devils are gonna roll on us. The end shall come as like a flood. That's in Daniel. Let me get that. Or the enemy shall. Well, there's also one that said, a verse that says the enemy shall come like a flood. I think. Oh, Khan, right here. That's when Yahweh by Hashem Yahweh Shai is going to raise that standard. Isaiah chapter 59, verse 19. So, so shall they fear the name of Yahweh from the west, and his glory from the rising of the sun. When the enemy shall come in like a flood, the spirit of Yahweh shall lift up a standard against them. So, yeah, that's how he is going to repay. Like verse 18, according to their deeds, accordingly he will repay fury to his adversaries, recompense to his enemies, to the islands he will repay recompense. So, and how is he going to do it? Through his elect. Through the 1/3, but really through his elect. It's another verse in Daniel. And thereof shall be with the flood. Yeah, come. Yeah, maybe this is the one that I'm talking about. Verse 26, and after 62 weeks shall Hamashiach be cut off, but not for himself, and the people of the prince that shall come shall destroy the city and the sanctuary, and the end thereof shall be with the flood, and unto the end of the world desolation are determined. Alright. So what I'm looking for is that verse about, okay, I don't think that's it though. I remember it being another verse. Like towards the end, more towards the end. Yeah. Yeah. I think that was it then. I think that was it then. So, yeah, so basically, these devils, when they come in and He used his sword on us. Is described as like a flood. Like they're gonna come in all at once. Basically, like to overwhelm us and like surprise us too. That's why these devils will do that shit. And that's what this devil is trying to get out of this crisis, which is a man-made crisis, you know. But ultimately, it's Yahweh Ba'Shem Yahweh Shai is behind it. So Esau ain't really doing shit. He can't really do shit without Yahweh Ba'Shem Yahweh Shai, you know. And he's trusting, of course he thinks that Satan is helping him, you know, somehow is gonna fight against Yahweh Ba'Shem Yahweh Shai is gonna help him do it, but it's not so. I know I know that scripture is real. Con right here. It's Isaiah 45 or 47. 45:7. Yeah. Yeah, right here, man. Right here. Verse 7. I form the light and create darkness. I make peace and create evil. I, Yahweh, do all these things. So, really, these devils, they ain't doing shit. They can't do shit without Yahweh Ba'Shem Yahweh Shai. Yeah, like, they're doing it, but they ain't really doing it. That's basically what I'm saying, if you know what I mean. Because, like, it's a miracle in itself, you know. It's a miracle in itself that these cave dwellers are even are even in this position of power, or even close to it. That's the power of Yahweh Ba'Shem Yahweh Shai. The same power that helped them, that helped him get to the top, you know, gave him that blessing. The sword is going to take him down. He's going to be taken down with this blessing, which is really a curse. Daniel 4, verse 17. This matter is by the decree of the watchers and the demand by the word of the holy ones, to the intent that the living may know that the Most High ruleth in the kingdom of men, and giveth to whomsoever he will, and set it up over the basis of men. So, and that's what you see right here. So it's Yahweh by Hashem Yahushai that sets up the basis of men. He ruleth in the kingdom of men. So, really, these devils are being set up for the hokey doke. Because ultimately, Satan is setting these, like he's there to set these devils up. Like he ain't independent, like actually beefing with Yahweh by Hashem Yahushai. It don't work that way. As it tells you, I'm just gonna try that, maybe. It's down here. Yeah. Right here. Verse 6. Job chapter 1, verse 6. Now there was a day when the sons of Yahweh came to present themselves before the Lord. And the sons of the power came to present themselves before Yahweh. And Satan came also among them. You know why he come among them? Because he was one of them. Like, verse 7. And the Lord said unto Satan, Whence comest thou? Then Satan answered the Lord and said, From going to and fro in the earth, and from walking up and down in it. So, where did he come from? You know, like he was answering to Yahweh. And the Lord Yahweh said unto Satan, Hast thou considered my servant Job, that there is like him in the earth, the perfect and the upright man, one that feareth Yahweh and is true with evil. Verse 9. Verse 9. This Satan answered Yahweh and said, Does Job fear Yahweh for naught? You know, and he had tested him before. But this was like, but he basically, since he had everything, it wasn't like, yeah, since he had everything, it wasn't like he was, basically he was saying that right here, Hast thou not made a hedge about him and about his house and about all that he has on every side? Thou hast blessed the work of his hands, and his substance is increased in his land. So basically, as you can see, he basically took orders from the Most High. Basically. But, so that shows you, you know, these devils, they trust in Satan, right? But Satan is not even on their side. Like, they're getting set up for the okie doke and ultimately Armageddon, World War III. Like, this shit that they're doing, this work that they're doing, that they've been doing since their youth. Thou hast labored from thy youth. Yeah, right here. Isaiah chapter 47, verse 12. Stand now with thine enchantments and with the multitude of thy sorceries, wherein thou hast labored from thy youth. If so be thou shalt be able to profit. If so be thou mayest prevail. So basically they have worked towards this new world order since their youth, and this is a part of it. Use their devices to they use their devices like coronavirus, the fear or coronavirus panic. They use that as a device. The fear, their media, which they tell you what to fear and what not to fear. Also used as devices, as tools, as weapons. It tells you that right here. I think that's what it say. Oh, right here. Psalm 64, verse 3. Who whet their tongue like a sword and bend their bows to shoot their arrows, even bitter words. America actually goes back to the word bitter. America goes back to the Hebrew word for bitter, pretty much. Elders have brought that out. The apostles brought that out a while back. So, of course they're gonna speak bitter words, like shutdowns, lockdowns, quarantines, shit like that, decrees, like unrighteous decrees. So, they use their tongue as a weapon. And where do they speak? Where do they speak? Where do they tell you, like, where do they tell lies to your vision on the television, on the TV? They tell lies to your vision, and most of you jakes believe it, as well as you lowercase e's and you heathens. But we're not really worried about you. We're worried about the Israelites. Worried about Israelites who are mainly so-called black, Latinos, Native Americans, and Israelite foreigners, which are people who look like the other nations, but they go back to so-called black people or Latinos and Native Americans. They go back to them, or the ancestors of those people. And their spirit bear witness that they're the children of Yahweh, or Yahweh Ba'Shem Yahushai, the princes of the power. The spirit bear witness. You got that zeal and God, salt. Most importantly, if they can receive this truth. So, there was something else I wanted to go over. Like, these water shortages, which is famine. California Costco, after shoppers became upset over bottled water shortage. Deputies had to respond to it, meaning shit was going down. Fullerton, it's probably because the video is they show a video with with the paper, toilet paper at Costco.
It's fucking empty. I don't know why they're doing that.
They ran out of water and toilet paper, so they don't know when they're gonna restock. So that's what I couldn't find.
It wasn't just Costco. The shelves of this Target in Woodland Hills were wiped. I thought the run on such items was an overreaction. There are a lot of theories out there as to why it's on the issue, and a series of tweets, with one saying, "So you run and get toilet paper not because you think society is about to crumble, but because you fear that others fear this. Fear of a run on toilet paper, like a run on the banks, is enough to create an actual run. And when the runs start, we need help." Pun intended.
They're trying to sell that shit a lot.
These price gouging restrictions make it illegal for businesses to raise the prices of most goods and services.
Love of money is the root of all evil, you know.
Those goods and services include medical supplies.
People are bugging out over this. Deputies were called after a San Bernardino Sheriff's Department spokesperson said customers became upset that the store ran out of water and no arrests were made this time. So, yeah, like they said, a lot of them are.
For the coronavirus is receiving support from both sides of the aisle in the state legislature. Our Capitol Bureau reporter Ashley Zavala explains the resources some leaders are most looking forward to having now.
Presents parts of Orange County and Costa Mesa, where city leaders last month blocked a virus-plagued cruise ship from docking there. Block says he's pleased with the emergency declaration, which will allow out-of-state medical professionals to help.
The chance to use all of these emergency powers, you know, they're giving themselves more to Chingo. See, California is an example of that, where the government, the Edomites over there, are using this crisis to use their emergency powers. Basically, shut shit down. There's another. Shit. Yeah, con right here in my own city, San Antonio. Coronavirus prompts. People are buying that shit up. Other germ-killing products. Looking to buy hand sanitizer in San Antonio? Good luck. As fear of coronavirus swept the city and local officials declared a public health emergency Monday, the prized commodity couldn't be found anywhere. Not in stores, not in pharmacies, not online. There was a famine of hand sanitizer. I had some friends who told me I wouldn't be able to find any, said Daley Rogers, 24, of San Antonio, who went to the H-E-B store at Interstate 10 in Wurzbach shortly after Mayor Ron Nirenberg issued the emergency declaration. I figured I would at least get a small thing of soap to keep in my purse. Rogers said she looked on Amazon before going to H-E-B in search of hand sanitizer. She said, In stores across San Antonio, there were signs of stepped up demand. Disinfecting wipes such as those made by Clorox were becoming hard to find. Sales of bottled water were brisk, and in some stores people stood in line to buy it. HEB San Antonio suits to keep coronavirus evacuees in quarantine. Yeah, they're just pushing this shit out there. Everything gonna be about coronavirus on the news, pretty much. HEB temporarily imposed limits on purchases of disinfectant sprays, wipes, hand soap, and hand sanitizer. 4 of each per customer per shopping trip. That's some other shit they're gonna start doing. That rationing shit. That's what they was doing. You know, they started doing that in the Great Depression in World War II, and we're coming into another depression and another World War. You know, once you get the amount that you're allowed to get, you know, you're no longer gonna be able to get stuff with your chip. Pretty much, that's how it's gonna end up. Oh, they always do that shit for depressions, for wartime. Last example was World War II. Like I said, we heading into another World War. Oh shit, what the fuck? Fuck. Who knows what that is? Yeah. Signs posted on HEB store shelves warned customers of the limit. At least one customer sounded astonished as she reported the limit to someone on her cell phone. She's like, oh shit, we can't buy shitloads of hand sanitizer or wipes. They're only letting us get 4. That's the times we're coming into. That's what happens in famines. They do that shit to conserve and shit, so they don't allow you to get as much. HEB spokesman Dia Campos issued an upbeat statement. She said the company has a strong inventory of supplies that customers might need, and that employees are continuously replenishing such items throughout the day. That's that peace and safety talk again. That's what these devils, and you know, but she might be a Northern Kingdom Eve, but who does she work? Who does she speak for? She's a spokeswoman. HEB, which is obviously owned by Esau. So she's just a mouthpiece, pretty much. But no hand sanitizer could be found on the shelves at several HEB stores. What did she say? That's been proven to be a lie. Otherwise, they wouldn't be restricting. But no hand sanitizer could be found on the shelves at several HEB stores Monday, including those at I-10 in Wurzbach, I-10 in Desavala, Babcock and Hubner, Northwest Loop 1604 in Blanco, and the Alon Market HEB at Northwest Military Highway in Wurzbach. At the HEB store in Olmos Park, only 3 or 4 containers of hand sanitizer remained perched on the very top shelf, which some customers were too short to reach. Likewise, shelves normally stocked with hand sanitizer were empty at the CVS and Walgreens stores of Medical Drive at the heart of the South Texas Medical Center. So, yeah, there's a famine, which is the same shit as a shortage. There's a famine on hand sanitizer and other germ-killing products. That's also been prophesied. Right? famines, yep. God, right here. And there shall, alright, full nation. This is a classic one right here. Matthew 24, verse 7. For nation shall rise against nation, and kingdom against kingdom, and there shall be famines and pestilences and earthquakes in divers places. You know, all these are the beginning of sorrows. It's just the start of it. Yahweh, Bahashim Yahweh Shai is just getting started. Meaning it's about to get a lot worse. And pestilences and earthquakes in diverse places. So pestilences, obviously there's a big one, whether that be that's a scare, is hyped up since they ain't really had, like, where's the, like I said, like Chief Ben saying, where's the social media videos of all these people with coronavirus? Like, where the fuck is that at? Nowhere to be found. At least not yet. And there should be some by now. So, but the pestilence, there's other pestilences that are coming up. And also that there's probably gonna be, the actual virus is probably gonna be in the vaccine, as I pointed out earlier. And so that's gonna be a pestilence, then that's gonna infect most of the people. You know, famines, of course, earthquakes. I heard there was an earthquake in Jamaica recently. Earthquakes. Them earthquakes are getting real. Or was it in Puerto Rico? Let me see. Shit is getting real out there. Oh yeah, 3.9 earthquake in Puerto Rico. And they had to deal with some shit earlier in the year. They had like major earthquake over there. They had a bunch of aftershocks. So yeah, March 6th, and I think Jamaica had one. Oh, Khan, right? Yeah, I remember this one. Yeah, back in January 28th, they had a 7.7 earthquake strike Tuesday about 80 miles from Jamaica, shaking people in the Caribbean and as far away as Miami. So it's just, there's just gonna be more of them, you know. Puerto Rico, one in Puerto Rico, one near Jamaica, you know. You know, Puerto Ricans are the so-called Puerto Ricans are, they the tribe of Ephraim, and Jamaica, they mainly Benjamin. So that's our people getting judged. But more earthquakes are coming, you know. Of course, this is not over with. And then you have something else that's going to cause a pestilence besides, Slovakia, that's going to cause a famine besides this coronavirus. Is that a locust infestation? East Africa. Locust infestation is worse than Kenya in 70 years, according to the FAO. In Ethiopia and Somalia, it's been 25 years since outbreak of this severity. Desert locusts will eat most plants they find and can destroy 80 to 100% of crops in areas where they invade, said Overson. So there you go. Add one in East Africa, and that shit was bad, yo. That shit was bad. There's one in China, I believe. Or it's like about to be. So it's in Pakistan. Like right now, it's in Pakistan. Yeah. So them Elamites, so-called Pakistanis, also got jacked up to battle Pakistan's locust swarms. So you see, because they're like saying, oh, they gonna come here. They gonna come here. So they're sending ducks over there, you know, it's that bad. See, it's fucked up. Heavy swarms of locusts out there. Them Hamites getting fucked up over out there. All their crops getting eaten. FYI, the indigenous Africans, the actual Africans, they're Hamites. The so-called black people in America, you know, and the West Indians, you know, the so-called black people in the Americas, let me just say that, and West Indian, you know, the so-called Negro, basically. Those, that's the Southern Kingdom. So the so-called black Americans, they're mainly of the tribe of Judah. And these Hamites that our people want to be so bad, they fucking sold our people into slavery to the Edomites, which is a so-called white man, and to Ishmael. And then Ishmael sold us to fucking Moab and even Japhet. Sold us to the fucking east. Japhet, FY, is not so-called white man. Japhet is Pacific Islanders, you know, original Japhites. You know, the original people of Europe were the Japhites, and they were dark-skinned people. Just like the Shemites, original Shemites were, and the original Hamites were. But yeah, them Hamites are getting jacked up out there. And then now China, I'm gonna go into it. How China is about to get fucked up. You know, they're gonna have all their crops. They're gonna have their fields cleared of crops. This is what's happening in East Africa. Huge ass locust swarms. Plagues. Hamites are resorting to desperate measures to fight this plague off.
And coming down through Ethiopia and Somalia, coming into northern Kenya. When they find somewhere where there's water, there's good habitat for them to have feed, then they reproduce and stay there for quite some time.
Shit is buffering now.
Nasikia mbaya zaidi. Chakula mwaka hii tunalima karibu mwaka kadhaa tujapata mvua.